we talked a little bit before camera started rolling, but I gotta ask, what happened with 106?
Such a sad story that one is. There are so many people who have sent me messages long before I was removed, who some of them I did not respond to, but I will say you were right on the market. Or market? What am I saying? Marker. Ball?
Ball.
You were whatever.
Yeah. You're right.
You were right. Right on the marker? Is this
Jasmin
a war
said it,
term? Like, yeah, honestly, there was definitely things that were happening that were really not good for my mental health. And so that was disappointing. I wish that the industry wasn't like the industry in some regard.
Can you give more context to what you mean by that?
So, in broadcasting, it is such a dog-eat-dog world. Yeah. And nobody's really your friend, Like, even the people who are your friends, they would, in a heartbeat, completely throw you under the bus if it meant that they could get the next step up and climb that hierarchy. And I've seen that everywhere. This isn't particular to any one station. That's just the nature of the business. And you are so bred with this mentality of, if you ever say no to something, somebody else is going to say yes to it. So you don't ever say no. They don't actually tell you that because, that would probably go against some labor codes of conduct. But
taught by lesson.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you definitely learn. And so for myself, especially I was first introduced to the industry when I was 17, I think it was. Maybe I was still 16 at the time. I don't remember. I think I was 17. That was so drilled into my brain. And there were so many things that I missed. Like, my brother was in a car accident. This is years ago. And I remember my family, he was really not doing well. And my family wanted me to go see him in the hospital, but I had a work event. And I didn't see my brother in the hospital. Yeah. And he's okay, thank goodness. But like just things like that I missed because I was like, I have to work. Work is me. If I don't do this, I'm going to get cut. That's another thing too. There's layoffs and people getting cut left, right, and center from the industry, especially these days. So, to have that attitude though, where it's like my job completely took over my entire life. Like when my first nephew was born, I didn't even meet him for like 4 days till after he was born. And he was at the hospital that's 12 minutes away from my house. But I with the work schedule, like, you're going to bed at 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m., and you're waking up at 3. Like, you're on a totally different schedule than the rest of the world. And then you're just exhausted the rest of the day. Plus, you have other events. Plus, you have to write for the following day. Like, it was just this so consuming cycle where I was so, and not just me, this is something I know many other people share, but it's like, you're so afraid to ever say no, to ever turn something down, or like to ever really like avoid something, because if you do, you're going to get cut. And that was just so ingrained into everybody. And then for that reason as well, there's so much backstabbing and so much betrayal that takes place. There's so many surface level friendships and relationships. And that's really hard for me too, because I've always been like a deeply compassionate person, and I love chatting way too much. I'm a total oversharer. So boy, have I ever gotten burned sometimes by talking to people who I thought I could really trust, and nope, you couldn't. So that kind of stuff is it's just so crazy to be on the other side of it now, which is why I say I wish the industry wasn't how it is, because there's so many people who work in it still who I deeply respect. And boy, like that is just not a way to live. Like and two, it's like you're just grinding for the company. Like you really don't have a life at all outside of the brand. Everywhere you go, you're representing the brand in some capacity. Everything you do, you have to be very careful about, no matter what, no matter who you're with, because if something comes out, it could hurt the brand. Like, so that kind of stuff, it's just so crazy to be on the other side. And I'm like, oh, this actually isn't so bad. And like, there's so many really wonderful things that have happened. And I don't know why I was like so in my head and forced myself to give up almost so many years of my personal life, like missed birthday parties, missed hospital visits, like just so many things like that.
Was there a sigh of relief when you got the notice? or was it a
Um,
shock?
Very shocked. Well, to keep in mind, I had won the Leaders of Tomorrow award in Banff, like 5 days or something before I was let go. And so I'm in Banff with my manager and like one of the other VPs of the company, and they're parading me around. Oh, we're going to nominate you for these other awards next year. Oh, she's the next rising star. There's like that was the whole rhetoric. And then it's like I get back from Banff after having that time with them and feeling really confident and good about myself. And then I get called into an office and they're like, we're done. And what do you mean we're done?
Yeah,
I was expecting to have I was expecting to have a raise. I was expecting to have like a big extension. Like, what do you mean? What? Why? And I never got a reason why. I know why, because I'm not stupid, but, which I won't share. But yeah, so it was just, again, I guess kind of pointing out to, I wish the industry wasn't the way that it was. Cause like, it's really sad to give your life to something the way that we do. And of course, oh, that's not expected and your mental health matters. But it's like, we know, like everybody in a workplace knows that. Like, it's like, yeah, sure. Maybe you didn't like, and give us this whole list of rules we have to follow, but we're not stupid. Like we know.
You can read the environment. You can read the room. You can
like, I know how serious this is. I know the pressure. I know. I've seen what happens to people who didn't say yes to that thing. Like, I know. And then to have that and to have done that for 11 years and then to just be tossed out the way that I was, completely caught off guard when I would have least expected it, was just really, really difficult.